In particular, we would like to recognize the following distinguished individuals. The Honorable Aaron Lucas, Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence. The Honorable Bradley D. Hansel, Undersecretary of War for Intelligence and Security. General Christopher Mahoney, Vice Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff. General Eric Smith, Commandant of the United States Marine Corps, and Mrs. Patricia Smith. The Honorable Peter Metzgar, Assistant Secretary of Treasury for Intelligence and Analysis. General Thomas Carden, Vice Chief, National Guard Bureau. General Petru Paicinu, Director of the Defense Intelligence General Directorate, Romania. Lieutenant General Michelle Breedenkamp, Director, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. The Honorable Mike Gallagher. The Honorable Russell Rumbaugh. The Honorable Michael Sulmeyer. Former DIA Directors Vice Admiral Lowell Jacoby, United States Navy, retired. Lieutenant General Robert Ashley, United States Army, retired. Lieutenant General Scott Berrier, United States Army, retired. Major General Florin Tormuic, Dean of the Foreign Defense Attaché Corps and Defense Attaché, Embassy of Romania. Our foreign partners and representatives of the Foreign Defense Attaché Corps, the Department of War and Intelligence community, senior leaders, and general and flag officers. Thank you for your attendance. The ceremony will begin momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Julia Adams, Lieutenant General James Adams' spouse, is now being escorted to her seat. Welcome to today's ceremony. Please stand for the arrival of the official party, honors, and the presentation of the colors. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Miss Amy Merchant, followed by the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets did glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
Right turn, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Brill, Staff Chaplain, Defense Intelligence Agency, will now give the invocation.
Almighty and gracious God, we gather with gratitude and humility as we mark the assumption of directorship for the Defense Intelligence Agency. We thank you for the men and women whose quiet vigilance strengthens the warfighter, illuminates the path of decision, and stands watch in defense of our nation. Grant Lieutenant General Adams your wisdom, clarity amid complexity, courage in moments of consequence, and integrity in every decision. May the intelligence produced here help prevent wars before they begin, bring conflicts to a just end, and protect those who stand in harm's way. Bless this agency with unity of purpose, disciplined minds, and steadfast resolve. Let their work be a shield for the innocent, a guide for leaders, and a force for stability in a troubled world. And as we labor for security today, keep before us your promise of the day when swords shall be beaten into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks, and nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. Guide us in faithful service, strengthen us for the task before us, and lead us towards that day of lasting peace. In your holy name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Brill. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and remain seated during the ceremony. Our host for today's ceremony is the Undersecretary of War for Intelligence and Security, the Honorable Bradley D. Hansel. We extend a very special welcome to Lieutenant General Adams' spouse, Julia. We are honored to have with us today a number of current and former national leaders, active and retired senior military members, and friends and family of Lieutenant General and Mrs. Adams. This afternoon, you will witness Lieutenant General James Adams assuming the directorship of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Today's events are rooted in military history, dating back to the 18th century when organizational flags were developed with colors and symbols unique to each unit. The passing of the colors from one commander to another is significant in many ways. The history, traditions, and accomplishments of a unit are embodied in the colors you will see pass before you today. The colors record the glories of the past, they stand guard in the present, and ensure inspiration for the future. At this time, Mrs. Julia Adams is being presented with a bouquet of yellow flowers to welcome her into the DIA family. Ladies and gentlemen, you will now witness the Defense Intelligence Agency Assumption of Directorship. Mr. Hansel and Lieutenant General Adams, please come forward. By direction of the Secretary of War, Lieutenant General James H. Adams assumes the directorship of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, the Undersecretary of War for Intelligence and Security, the Honorable Bradley D. Hansel.
Good job, Brooke. That would have been awkward if it wasn't there. Good afternoon. It's great to be back here. I'm always so energized when I get to come see the people who do the actual work. And I'm always left encouraged by our incredible potential after getting a chance to spend time with you. So even if I can't do so with those of you on video, I hope I get a chance to do so with some of the leaders here today. I'd first like to start off by thanking Major General Nicolette. He certainly did an excellent job. I think many of you in this room have heard him say intelligence drives action. He said that a lot. And he certainly didn't waste any time in getting to action when he took his job here since August. I know one of the things he's done, having been a two-time J2, was really understand the specific needs of the combatant commander and tailor the DIA analytical support that got there. And more importantly, he created a system that would ensure that tailored support remains past his tenure. And I really thank him for that. And the department and myself are very grateful for his service. To the point of why we're here today, Secretary Hegseth often talks, as well as I do, about a commitment to the warfighter. I was thinking as I was listening to the national anthem how many times I'm going to say warfighter today. It's going to be a lot, but it's because it's damn important, and it is our focus. And DIA not only has many warfighters in its own ranks, but plays a critical role in providing the insights that determine when we're going to go to armed conflict and how we're going to prevail when we do. And that humbles me every time I think about the magnitude of that task that's happening. To lead this critical function, the President has chosen a proven leader and a warfighter to be the 25th director of the DIA. General Adams has extensive operational and tactical experience, including multiple combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. I think I saw 300 combat flying hours. And so I have no doubt he understands firsthand the value of solid intelligence getting to the warfighter and the cost of not doing so. As we face new challenges, though, and continue the necessary evolution at DIA, I have every confidence that General Adams' executive leadership experience makes him the leader to tackle the pending Herculean tasks ahead of us. I'll have to get used to calling the DIA commander Rain Man, but it is true that he has brought success to every assignment he's been in, and I expect this one to be no different. In the most recent example, he led the Marine Corps to yet another historic first. I see the Vice exceptionally happy about this line. As they became the first service to pass a clean financial audit, setting a standard for accountability within the department. And he did so not once, but 3 times. For that alone, they should consider you a savant, sir. I truly look forward to tackling the hardest challenges with you and the leadership here today at the DIA, although I suspect there's probably more to the story of Rain Man that I should hear about at another time. I'd like to take a moment and thank General Adams' family. I want to acknowledge that although I'm sure the list is long of the folks that helped you get here, I am very aware of the sacrifice that it will take to do this job, the long hours, and the demanding nature of the role. And I think I heard you still have unpacked boxes at home, so it's probably not helping. So thanks for getting started right away, General. I'd expect nothing less. But more importantly, as I get a chance to meet your family, I'd say if the 3.5 decades of service that the General's given the nation isn't proof enough, having your family choose to follow in your footsteps is a testament to inspiration. It's your inspiration and commitment. I'm a new father, and I'm getting goosebumps listening to this. I'm sure it didn't hurt having a wife who is also a Marine. We'll give you all the credit, Julia. But all 3 of your children, your daughter, Jessica, serving as a Navy civilian at the Navy Yard, your eldest son, a 2nd lieutenant. We're probably going to, in the Air Force at flight school, we're going to probably figure out what commanding officer thought it wasn't a good idea to send him here. But, and your youngest son, Alex, who just graduated, is aspiring to serve in public service. It's truly one of the strongest testaments I can think of, type of role model you are, and how much you value service to your nation, and thank you, sir. I know the General will agree. I picked him for his leadership, so I'm certain he'll agree that the most important part of any organization are its people. And so I want to take a few moments when I had this chance to talk to those of you here today, the leaders in the community, and those of you on camera that will be so critical in our success. I do believe we stand at a generational inflection point in the history of the Department of War. The operational environment and threat environment we face will no longer allow us to achieve success the ways we have done since the turn of the century. At the highest levels of the department, we are re-examining every aspect of how we operate to ensure we're maximizing effects and the return on those investments. I've asked General Adams to do the same here at DIA. In order to keep these remarks brief although I'm sure not brief as some may want. And recognizing we're in an unclassified environment, I'd like to quickly highlight 3 areas where I think we absolutely have to succeed in order to meet the mark. The first is we need a realignment across the defense intelligence enterprise. There's 2 main pillars of this as I see it. The first is we will continue to rapidly align to the administration and the department's priorities, allocating resources and capabilities where it'll have the biggest impact, and we need to do that in an enduring way. But second, and equally important, I believe, is we must enable the department to operate in a new risk paradigm. Decision makers will continually be forced to make more difficult choices regarding the allocation of forces and the commitment of resources. The ability to effectively navigate that trade space begins with the ability to accurately assess and articulate the risk, with much of that work being done here at DIA, from the scientific and intelligence efforts done here to our efforts to accurately inform the full acquisition life cycle, to risk calculations about the decisions of war. That work happens here, and I truly believe for us to be able to operate in the risk paradigm we'll face ourselves, we need to be able to provide an accurate picture to leaders. I look forward to working with you in what I think is essential to hone our ability to do this with precision, provide war intelligence, not inbound, General, provide intelligence to our warfighters at the speed of relevance, and have the courage to provide ruthlessly accurate assessments to our policymakers. I feel a little bad the Vice is probably going to be one of those recipients, but I'm going to try my darndest to make your life easier, sir. The second is, so realignment is the first one. The second one is we have to modernize. And modernize not only to protect the soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardians, and Marines today, but to ensure we're able to do so for those that follow next behind them. To that end, I see at DIA three key areas. One is artificial intelligence. We'll leverage artificial intelligence across the enterprise to not only automate processes from where they are today, but generate unique insights at the speed of relevance. This is an absolute no-fail mission. And General Adams' tenure, no pressure, sir. We have to build a workforce that, I feel very passionate about this. For those who have heard me, probably hear me talk about this a lot. We have to build a workforce that also matches that new technological environment that we face. To meet that imperative and take care of our people will require aggressive planning and really hard decisions. And I challenge all the leaders here today to lean into this effort so we can make sure we do both. Additionally, I've asked General Adams to find novel and unique ways to scale our ability to collect against our toughest adversaries. This includes building bespoke collection capabilities here and modernizing defense unit. The third area that I want to cover is how we're going to maximize enterprise effects with the investments already made from across the combat support agencies. That will require a true enterprise lens. First of all, it is past time to create an all-source fused data architecture capable of providing AI-enabled insights that can inform a global common operating picture and can support joint targeting in theater. I should say that again because that's that important. Just trust me. I'm humbled by the magnitude of that task and the role we need you to play, General Adams. And to get that done, it will take, I truly believe, and in part the selection of General Adams, it will take true leadership, non-parochial, mission-first leadership to complete that task. Realizing that goal will ensure that the level of lethality necessary within the department to successfully deter our adversaries and, if necessary, defeat them or in conflict is there when we need it. In closing, I want to thank everyone that took the time to be here today and for your dedication to our nation, sir. I have no doubt that General Adams is the right person at the right time for this critical position, and I'm confident with his leadership and the leadership of the DIA leadership in front of me, we will certainly meet the mark for both the department and the nation. General Adams, let's get to work.
Had a little heart attack there. Hey, Wow. I am so excited to be here today. Like, what a wonderful venue. It is so great to see so many friendly faces, so many new people that I've met, and I am just humbled at the opportunity to come and lead this wonderful organization. So I'm excited. I hope you all are excited. This is a big day, not just for us, not just for the workforce, but for the agency writ large. And so thank you for coming. Honorable Hansel, thanks for your kind words, sir. Thanks for the many hours we've spent leading up to this culminating event, the mentorship you've provided, the guidance that you've offered, and I'm ready to get after it. So I think we're up to the task. I think the task is righteous and that our nation requires it. So thank you. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention my two biggest mentors here in the front row. I know we've introduced everybody, and I'm really thankful for all those here. But the vice chairman and the commandant have been my mentor for going on 15 years. And their guidance, their mentorship, their leadership, not just me personally, but to the force, is something that I try to model every day. And gentlemen, thank you for being here, taking time out of your day to be here. And I hope to live up to your expectations and the guidance that you provided me. To all our other distinguished guests, we have former DI directors here. We have leaders from across the Joint Force, the intelligence community, the defense enterprise, Congress, our allies and partners, all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on this special day. And for those online, to include my son, Second Lieutenant Adams, is watching this. Thanks for joining us. I'm just honored to be here. And I'm deeply grateful to the senior leaders of the department for their trust and confidence that they placed in me to lead this agency. That trust carries weight. I accept it with humility, and I resolve to earn that trust every day. And to my partner of 30 years, Julia, and my lovely kids, Jessica, Alex, and Jake, thank you for your compassionate love and support. You have sustained me through every assignment and every transition, and I would not want to be here without you. I love you very much. Well, yesterday we moved into our quarters here on Bowling. Literally, yesterday. It's a house full of boxes right now. I think we got home at about 2 a.m. after we cleaned out our old quarters in the Navy Yard. But I'll tell you, after years of commuting across town, this shorter drive is definitely certainly welcome. It was a very short move for us, but it meant a lightning-fast reception timeline, and this agency delivered. Moving with remarkable efficiency. Mission services, facilities and logistics, CIO, security, protocol, they all ensured I was housed, badged, and operational in record time. I think today is day 5 on the job. They also seemed especially determined to make sure I did not miss my polygraph appointment. For all of you in this organization who made this transition seamless, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your level of precision and execution reflects a culture of discipline and professionalism that has defined this institution. Standing here today, I feel two things very clearly: gratitude and responsibility. Gratitude for the leaders and the professionals who built this agency and then sustained it through 65 years of consequence. From the height of the Cold War to the complex, contested environment we face today. When this agency was established in 1961, it was born of necessity, a recognition that the Department of War required an integrated, authoritative voice for military intelligence, a single organization capable of fusing combatant command and service perspectives, providing strategic warning in informing national decision makers during a period of profound global tension. That imperative remains today, and if anything, it has intensified. With that history comes responsibility. Responsibility to carry forward a legacy of excellence with humility and with deep respect for our workforce of more than 16,000 individuals serving in over 140 countries. They operate quietly, often without recognition, but always with impact. The security environment before us is defined by pacing threats, accelerating technological change, and adversaries who are increasingly aligned in both their intent and their capability. In such an environment, intelligence is not merely a supporting function, it is a decisive advantage. Decision advantage underpins deterrence, and deterrence will define whether our nation faces crisis or preserves peace. Intelligence is warfighting. It's all about the warfighter. It enables policymakers to decide with clarity, commanders to act with confidence, and our nation to deter aggression through strength. We all here at the agency carry out that responsibility with the transparency, accountability, and fidelity demanded by both congressional oversight and the trust of the American people. But we cannot remain static. And as Honorable Hansel said, we need to transform and become better. DIA must continue to evolve at the speed, scale, and complexity of modern warfare. Currently, through initiatives focused on the modernization of our data systems and sharing that data through a common intelligence feed, DIA is transforming how we enable decision-making at the speed of relevance. Through artificial intelligence, advanced analytics, and open-source analysis, DIA is already accelerating our ability to generate new insights. But technology alone does not create advantage. Advantage is created when skilled professionals apply judgment, experience, and tradecraft to information, delivering clarity to leaders making consequential decisions. Throughout my 35 years of service, I have learned a simple truth. Take care of our people, and they take care of the mission. At this level, leadership is about alignment, ensuring intent is clear, priorities are understood, standards are maintained, and execution is disciplined. It is my responsibility, our responsibility, to develop and empower our workforce, to remove obstacles that detract from mission accomplishment, and ensure every analyst, operator, technologist, and support professional can focus on what matters most: delivering insight, credible warning, and operational capability to the combatant commands, the services, and policymakers on time and on target. To focus that effort, the National Defense Strategy gave us a clear framework: defend the homeland, deter major power aggression in the Indo-Pacific, strengthen burden sharing with allies and partners, and sustain military advantage through industrial capacity. In what I've seen since I've arrived here at DIA, this organization is central to all four. On homeland defense and Indo-Pacific deterrence, our charge is to operationalize the intelligence, provide timely indicators and warning through one unified and integrated intelligence effort, maintaining our warfighting advantage in today's dynamic environment. With respect to allies and partners, many of which are in the audience here today, we're enabling shared planning, force readiness, and intelligence collaboration that make coalitions stronger and more capable. And on the defense industrial base, intelligence and industrial capacity move together. Supply chains, munitions, technology adaptation, and adversary intent. Intelligence informs every link in that chain. Across analysis, operations, mission services, science and technology, global integration, our intelligence centers, and all of our forward deployed teams, every element of the Defense Intelligence Agency contributes to that strategic effect. And we do so as part of something larger. No single organization secures the nation alone. Our strength lies in integration across the intelligence community, across the Joint Force, and across our allies and partners worldwide. Different authorities, different capabilities, one unified purpose: to prevent conflict where possible, and to provide warning where necessary, and to ensure that should deterrence fail, our nation will prevail decisively. I am committed to preserving what has made this agency exceptional: operational relevance, rigorous tradecraft, and a culture that values its people. It is an honor to serve with you, and it is a privilege to lead this agency. Thank you, and Semper Fidelis.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Adams. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Chaplain Brill gives the benediction and remain standing for the playing of the Armed Forces Medley and the departure of the official party.
Almighty God, our sword, shield, and sure foundation, we give thanks for your grace, divine protection, and perfect love. Grant us courage to choose the hard right and strength to bear the cost. Let your healing balm be upon all who have drunk from the bitter cup of war. Continue to bless the warfighter, their families, and all those who ensure the stars and stripes continue to fly high. We humbly pray by your grace and for your glory. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the Defense Intelligence Agency, thank you for joining us today. This concludes today's ceremony. Please remain in place for a few moments to allow our distinguished guests and family members to form the receiving line. We invite you to join us in Leadership Hall for refreshments as we welcome Lieutenant General and Mrs. Adams.